Hello everybody, you see nothing but blackness on the screen, but that soon will change too. Now you see all of us. Hello everybody, it's Anthony Beyond from Mission Start Podcast. Thank you for coming in and joining us. We're streaming a bit early. We usually stream at 3 p.m. On Sundays, but this time it's a bit different. This time around we are streaming for E3. E3 is happening for the next couple of days, and we're going to give our predictions and reactions. The way this is going to work is that each day, each press conference, we're going to give our predictions prior to the press conference, host the main Twitch channel that's going to be broadcasting the press conference, and then afterwards, we'll give our reactions, unhost the channel, give our reactions, and then rinse and repeat for every other press conference. If you cannot be here physically to watch the stream, we got you covered. It's going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/MissionStarPodcast1. And we'll be also uploading to our audio feeds as well. So it'll be on iTunes and Stitcher under Mission Start Podcast. So in either way, you will hear from us one way or another our thoughts, predictions of what we got right, what we got wrong. But before we get into that, let me introduce the cast of people we have today. So with us today, we have Greg Dietz.
Hey.
Also today, we have Ramen.
Hello.
And joining us is our convention photographer, Alex.
How y'all doing today?
So now that we got the introductions out of the way, let's begin our predictions. So EA is first up. The funny thing is that last year EA probably had the worst press conference. That was...
Don't they always? Like minus I don't know. Last year was alright. Besides, it was like, hey, Mirror's Edge. I was like, yay, and then everything else was like, shit.
Well, here's the thing. What happened last year? Last year, EA, they definitely, in the entire press conference, they was teasing about the footage for Battlefield, not Battlefield, but Battlefront for Star Wars. The entire conference, and it felt like, hey, we're going to show you these other games. We're going to show you this other stuff you may not be interested into. But we get this big thing at the end. Not to mention that they had that 5-10 minutes of Pele just talking to the host. And that was just everybody was mind just was boring as hell. So EA taking it upon themselves this year to definitely change that and trying to be the first ones actually up for E3 rather than be in the middle. And side note that EA is not going to be at E3. They're hosting their own thing. I think. I mean, they're hosting their own thing, but I'm not sure if they're going to be at E3 of a booth. There's a lot of companies that get kind of backed out as of late from E3.
As far as I know, it's less of E3 being there and more like the companies that are developing for E3 will be there.
Gotcha.
So I know that I think Respawn has a booth there, and the other companies I can't think off the top of my head.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of
I have run into a couple of news articles where it actually has said that EA does not have a booth this year at E3, which is kind of different.
Okay, that makes total sense then. Okay, so EA, definitely will not have a booth then at E3, but they're having their own thing. It's going to be pretty much my guesstimation is that they're gonna have Mass Effect Andromeda. I think it's probably one of the big things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope it's not like a fucking cinematic. I hope they give us gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really hope that they do is with Andromeda is that they show a little bit of story, and what I mean by that is not a ton, obviously, but enough to sit there and say whether or not it's an alternate reality in the future, the past. I want a little bit more into what the fuck's going on. Where does it take place? Because to me, the Mass Effect trilogy is its own story, and it ends, boom, done, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious where it moves on from.
Gotcha. I'm curious to see what exactly is going to happen when it comes to Mass Effect and just what exactly they're going to be showing off. as far as I know, we don't know much about it. They showed one trailer last year. No gameplay footage. Maybe hopefully this time around they'll have some gameplay.
Oh my god!
And then we're definitely going to be showing off something that hopefully gameplay, some storylines as well. But we'll definitely see how it goes. There's one of the big games to be showing off. They might touch on Mirror's Edge since it just came out last week. They might tease maybe upcoming DLC, Mirror's Edge.
As far as Mirror Edge goes, yeah, I would only expect to see maybe a DLC announcement. Literally nothing else would be pertinent to their conversation at this point because, like you said, it just came out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That'd be the only reason I guess that they would mention the game. But I think they're gonna just basically focus on the usual stuff they usually do, which is like here's Halo sports games and maybe a couple of games you might be interested in.
See, that's interesting thing to bring up though, because they have a formula. If you've watched E3 with EA, you know they have a formula. They have their guns, they have their sports, and then they have their driving games. Well, this year they don't have a driving game. Yeah. So the only driving game that they were supposed to have, I think, was Need for Speed, and they decided to skip this year entirely. So. I mean, maybe they'll still bring out some Need for Speed footage and show you what's going on, but the game's not being released this year.
Okay.
EA is known for like going like, hey, we got something coming out next year though. We'll talk about it next E3.
Or 2 years from now.
Or even 2 years.
I think that. Go on, Alex.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last thing I have to bring about that is though the team that did Burnout, we haven't really heard a whole lot from them, so it's possible that they'll throw something out.
Ooh, if we have another Burnout, dude, I'll be stoked.
Dude, I want another Burnout. I don't want it open world though. I want it to just be fucking tracks.
You don't want like a drive club.
Chaos. Yeah, no, fuck that. I fucking hated. It was Burnout Paradise. I was not a fan of the open world stuff.
I kind of agree with you, Anthony. I'm sorry, not Anthony. Ramen on that. I do feel that Burnout Paradise kind of took away from what I loved about the original Burnout games, the first three. Mm-hmm. I want it to just be like, I agree. I want it to just be tracks. I want it to be just fun. And one of the big things about Burnout Paradise that they kind of took away from the original games was that like stupid arcade mode where you just run into things and crash.
That was fucking fun.
In Paradise, they were like, "Oh, we have that, but it's actually part of the game now and helps." I'm like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Burnout Paradise had a lot of issues, but give them credit for trying something different.
Yeah, I agree.
If nothing else, because how many times can you play the exact same Burnout game year after year before finally you're like, okay, I need a change?
Yeah, so, Burnout Paradise wasn't bad by any measure. It was just not what I'd like to see in a Burnout game, personally.
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm more in favor of what Burnout 3 was. It was like just this fast-paced racing game.
Dude, Burnout Takedown.
Yeah,
that was awesome, man.
It's like from side to side, and then they flip out and have slow motion as they end up going over the edge. It was really cool. We'll see something out of Criterion Games in terms of what exactly at E3 for the EA press conference. I'm not quite sure. Since EA got them long ago, I'm not quite sure what they're having them do. For me, I think they might show like a new Need for Speed, because it seems like that's the only thing that EA's been having them do as of late. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what exactly, if there's gonna be another racing game for them as well. I'm not quite sure how well the last one sold. So last I heard, it wasn't that great though. So we'll definitely see something when it comes to it. The other game that might show up, which has been kind of a mainstay for EA for a while from this press conference, is Dragon Age. I believe.
Oh yeah,
we haven't seen Dragon Age in a while. Yeah.
You said Dragon Age, and I thought Dragon Quest for some stupid fucking reason. I was like, what?
Yes, a Return of Dragon Quest from EA.
So I'm gonna kind of chime in there for just a second before you finish your thought, Anthony, about Dragon Age.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that there's gonna be no Dragon Age, simply because Inquisition is not that old, and it took them years to make Inquisition. So I don't think we're hearing shit from Dragon Age.
Wait, time out. Once again, I'm going to bring it back to what we said earlier. There's a possibility we'll see a teaser for it. Nothing actual concrete. We may only see a name flash across the screen and that's it.
Yeah.
But there's a possibility that something could show up.
Right. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that anything could show up, but I'm gonna straight up be like, I'm gonna be the contrarian in this and be like, nope.
You know what I'm looking forward to though? I'm looking forward to the new Sims. It's been a while since they've released the Sims other than DLC. You gonna tell me they're not ready to milk that thing again?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I think that
I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm also kind of expecting them to be like, hey guys, guess what? Battlefront 2, and let's hop on the fucking Star Wars train and ride that shit.
No. Ramen, you brought up a good point. It's right. Battlefield 1 was announced actually not too long ago. And that's
Battlefield 1, yes, but not Battlefront. He's talking about Battlefront.
Yeah. I meant Battlefront. I said Battlefield.
I was going to mention that earlier, that Star Wars Battlefront 2 should be shown. I guarantee.
It's going to be.
I disagree with that. I honestly disagree with that, just because of the reception that it received, which was not very good. And if you've been following the news, there's actually some private group of people that are just fans that have gotten a green light to release a completely free version of Battlefront on Steam. And it's good.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
what they made was basically they took Battlefront 3 that was supposed to come out a long time ago that got canned, remade it or whatever, and they released it on Steam for free. But I didn't see any, of course there's going to be negative feedback for anything EA does because EA has the stigma now. But I haven't heard them stopping any kind of production or anything on Battlefront 2, especially with a story campaign supposed to be coming with it. So, I don't know. I feel like we're going to hear something from that.
I think it's more likely that we're going to see something based off Rogue One instead of Battlefront.
You know what? Yeah, I was going to say EA has the rights from basically to make all the Star Wars games, so we're probably going to get a whole Star Wars block.
Yeah, I could see that if they threw in a little bit maybe on Battlefront 2 in there. Yeah, I could see that. But like I said, I definitely see them more leaning towards possibly releasing something to go along with Rogue One, something like that.
Yeah,
you might be right. You might absolutely be correct. I think I more want a story campaign for Battlefront 2, just because what I would personally love, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, but another Republic Commando style game.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be the sickest shit ever. Oh my god,
yeah. Just got everyone on the same page.
I would love another Republic Commando.
I'm rocking a chub right now just to the mention of it. That was a great idea. I would love to see a new one come back. It's been way too long. It was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if EA has, well, let's be honest, I don't know if they have the balls to do it at this point.
Yeah, that's true. The Rage kind of took a chance on Mirror's Edge as it is. I think there will be some DLC for Battlefront, and I think it will tie into Rogue One. And I think it's gonna be because of the promotion of the movie and the game at the same time. Happened last year as well with the game movie coming out pretty close to each other, including that pre-map that was saying it takes place prior to the movie, storyline. So, I wouldn't doubt that there would be something with Battlefront with DLC. But aside from that, the other game I think that will show an appearance. And I think it's going to be, again, more DLC or maybe even a hint at a sequel is the Plants vs. Zombie game. Plants vs. Zombies 3, maybe, possibly, or DLC.
I'm not sure. I don't even know how good those games do, honestly.
I've heard it.
What were you saying again? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Plants vs. Zombies. Potential DLC.
Oh, I doubt it. Number 2 just came out. If we see anything for Plants vs. Zombies, it's definitely not going to be console-based. It'll be phone. But Plants vs. Zombies 2 had such a negative impact. People hated it.
Really?
Garden Warfare?
Yeah, Garden Warfare, yeah.
DLC maybe, but not anything substantial.
I always thought that it had a pretty good reception, at least from my.
It had a great reception. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying I don't think we're getting a Garden Warfare 3, is what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Because Garden Warfare 2 is too new.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Garden Warfare's only been out. Well, the newest one only been out for what, like a year or so, year and a half.
Not even a year. I played the beta like right before I went over to North Carolina last year. So, or well, not last year, but I played it last year because I remember streaming it with Brian from Heat, and it was like towards the end of the year. So the game hasn't even been out for 6 months, I don't think.
Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, initial release date February 23rd, 2016.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So that's a good point. Most likely DLC is, if we see anything about Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare specifically, it's probably DLC.
Yeah. So so just to kind of get out of the way in terms of like what EA's, because every year we see something sports-wise from EA, in football, MMA, basketball, whatever, and that's usually going to happen. This year, if I'm not mistaken, they announced that what's his name's on the cover of MMA? I forgot his name. But they had some athlete on the cover. And recently, like Brock Lesnar.
Wait, for UFC? Okay, so you're talking about Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more than likely, what are the odds EA's gonna bring out another athlete just to come out and say, yeah, the game is great. It's.
Definitely.
Lifelike.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I mean,
That's what they do every year.
yeah. Well, no, it's like how many athletes do you think they're gonna bring up on stage this year?
I would say at least one.
At least one. I could say possibly two, but it's probably going to be one. Just because to get those athletes at that caliber, it is a fair amount of investment on their part financially.
Oh yeah.
So, so it's probably going to be one. It's going to be interesting though. How about we try and pick which game it's going to be from?
It's going to be MMA, I think. I don't think.
You think so?
I think so. I don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, just because like MMA and like UFC's kind of like gotten like way more popular over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's gotten popular. That's true, but has it gotten popular with the gaming crowd? Is the question. Because remember, while yes, it's really popular, you have to go towards what your actual demographic is.
And see, I don't think they really think about that. I mean, like last year, Pele. Come on now. I mean, even though he is a soccer legend, how many people here in America, really care about soccer?
But they're not just looking about here in America. They're looking worldwide because they don't sell that many of FIFA in the U.S.
I was also going to say, like, it doesn't matter. I was going to say, it doesn't matter to them whether the nerds there or watching home in America go, who the fuck's Pele? Because all of a sudden, social media goes, did you see that Pele was at the fucking, like, the thing? The Pele endorses FIFA? It's fucking by FIFA, dude. In Peru.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I definitely get it. And I think Alex is right because often when they showed, like, some of the soccer games during the EA press conference, especially, previous years, it's definitely targeting not specifically the U.S., but, like, they sell gangbusters like in like Europe specifically, or like in like outside of the United States. So
look, I actually if I remember correctly, I think maybe there was one of the soccer games. Remember, because the two big ones, as far as I know, is FIFA, and then there's Winning 11-7.
Mm-hmm.
One of those two games they have recently came out, or over the past like few months, they said that they were going to stop making the soccer game. It was either FIFA or it was Winning 11-7.
I think
you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not FIFA. No,
it definitely wasn't
FIFA 17. FIFA 17's coming out this year. Like,
okay, yeah.
It's not going to stop.
Yeah, well then maybe it was Winning 11-7 then.
Probably.
I feel like Winning 11-7 was the one I kept hearing about that was going to shut down. It was going to not continue anymore. I could be wrong. But
EA has this juggernaut role of their sports products or their sports games just steamrolling everything else. The only one that's like, as far as I know, that's not is like MLB The Show is steamrolling all other baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to basketball, they're kind of like neck and neck. But hockey, soccer, football, everything else is just getting late. It's just, hey, EA owns it. Don't try anything else.
Yeah, and they
Because I know. Well, yeah, because the thing is, like, they went out to some of the leagues and were like, okay, we're gonna like buy all of the teams and we can use their name, but nobody else can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So like in any other fucking.
Well, and that's the thing a lot of people don't realize too with the sports games is they have a monopoly on it. Nobody else can put these games out. That's why they just sell like crazy because, I mean, when I was growing up, there was a little bit of selection there. You had your Madden for football, but you also had more arcade-style games like Blitz. You guys remember Blitz?
Oh, Blitz was fucking amazing.
Blitz was great.
Right?
However, Blitz sucks now. Like any new Blitz that they've come out with in the past, I don't know, few years, it's been terrible.
No,
I
really
agree,
good.
but it's because that there's such a stranglehold by EA on the sports industry that they have to be so careful with what they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I do wonder, like, with some of these contracts that they made with these sports entities, like, I wonder when that goes up. I do know that it's coming up for the NFL license that their contract will be up pretty soon with EA. And I kind of wonder if EA, I mean, obviously EA is going to put the money to renew it, but my question is how much of a price is that going to be with the NFL? And so a bunch of these other big sports companies. So I'm hoping for the day that they give up the licenses, honestly, only because like freaking I love to see like other game companies have their own take on a sports franchise. I loved what 2K did way back in the day for the NFL game. They did it for like $20 and it was fantastic. I forgot what it's called, but it was. I definitely want to see more competition. Competition breeds more better quality. It breeds just kind of getting other people to make better games. But because EA has such a stranglehold on what they have right now, like it's pretty much what they put out is what you get. So, yeah, there definitely will be some sports stuff for sure. But definitely, there's one way or another we'll have some sports figure come out. I remember
definitely.
I remember when they brought out like 3 like major sports players at the time to the press conference. It was the defensive end from the Green Bay Packers. It was the defensive guy from Baltimore. The most famous of them all. I forgot his name. Ray Lewis. It was Ray Lewis. And then they had somebody else. I had 3 major sports guys in their football gear, just standing there, made a few quotes, and then left. And it was just like, wow, I spent so much money on those 3 just to come out and say something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, EA is gonna have some stuff for sure. In terms like what else they're gonna be showing at this press conference, over under at least 2 indie games. Last year they showed Yarny. Yarny was shown pretty well, and the guy came out was pretty nervous to begin with, but it was that game did really well. It came out, it reviewed fairly well, but I do think they'll have at least 1 or 2 indie games. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cuphead is a Microsoft thing, right, Greg?
As I know that it's going to be exclusively on the Xbox One, but I don't know. I think it's EA that makes it, or sorry, not makes it, publishing it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they might.
Yeah, I think so. We haven't. I mean, Cuphead's been in development for fucking how many years now?
It's been way too long.
Yeah, super long.
But for the animation and for what that art style is going for, holy crap! That game looks so good. Oh my god.
With everything being like hand drawn and stuff like that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I do think they're gonna show at least 1 or 2 indie games at this press conference. As far as like what it's gonna be and what it's gonna look like, who knows? I think some new stuff. Last year I was well received with Yarny, which, in my opinion. So they might bring out another no-name indie game to showcase at E3. We'll see how that goes.
I want to touch on the thing that we haven't touched on really yet, and it's the crown jewel for EA this year, Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1, yes.
Oh yeah.
That is their
yeah.
crown jewel, hands down.
I kind of assumed that was going to be. They're absolutely going to talk about that and
Yeah.
probably have gameplay, but
I feel like if they're gonna show anything, they're gonna show the multiplayer. I'm pretty sure because I remember hearing something about like the game is boasting that like there's gonna be like 40, like 20 on 20 like multiplayer matches or something like that, like some huge ass number.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they're gonna be showing off.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
when they well not if but when they show Battlefield 1.
Do you guys remember in 2014's EA, when EA, during E3, kicked off Battlefield Hardline's beta right then and there? Like, literally, hey, by the way, it's live right this second.
I remember. Here's the worst part, too. It's like they said that, we're going to start the beta. If you're here at the show floor or here at E3, we have about a good amount of setups on top of a building in the blazing heat in LA for you to come in or come by and try out the game if you want to on computer monitors. And I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'd rather sit down and skip that rather than sweat my ass off to play a game. But that's a good point though. Battlefield 1 is going to be definitely be shown. It's going to be probably one of the big things that they're going to be showing off this year. And I think the one thing I'm still curious about is what the game's going to be, because like in that trailer, like it was like World War I elements, but it had like showcases of other things too that were not World War I. You know, that were kind of like, I wouldn't say leading to other things. Like you had like a big what do you call it? The blimp. It's not a blimp, but it's Led Zeppelin's like front cover. Oh no, it's Zeppelin. No, there you go.
Yeah, no. So that's the thing. It's World War I for Battlefield 1, which means Zeppelins and biplanes. Those were the two flying devices they had back then. So I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, they've kind of already. I don't want to say they've explicitly stated it, but it's been so obvious that we know it's coming. Is those two vehicles will be in there. Right,
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you know, with what Battlefield has always been in the past, and I know that Battlefield 1 is supposed to be, which is really funny to me that like Xbox One is technically a terrible naming convention, but Battlefield 1 isn't for what it's doing. I think it's great.
I thought it was fucking terrible, but you know, whatever.
I mean,
well, because there's technically no Battlefield 1, but now when people talk about, because there like I said, there is technically no Battlefield 1. It's Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4.
Yep.
So there's technically never been a just Battlefield.
Yeah. True.
That being said, I'm super interested in this alternate timeline that they have going for the game. That's probably more so what I'm interested than the multiplayer, because I know their multiplayer is going to be solid.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking Battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, it always is solid.
Yeah.
But with every other Battlefield, whether it be World War II, modern, you get a lot of very fun vehicles to drive, whether they fly, ground, whatever. I want to see that. I want to see the variety of vehicles that you're going to be able to drive, whether it be multiplayer or single player. Like, am I going to be able to drive a Zeppelin? Please, let me drive a goddamn Zeppelin.
Yeah, right.
So that's the kind of stuff that I'm really hoping they show with Battlefield. I mean, they're going to show Battlefield 1. I think we've established that. They're going to show it, but in what fashion? You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be mainly focused on their multiplayer.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't doubt that, Ramen. I kind of wonder if I won't doubt they would show multiplayer. I kind of don't doubt maybe they'll show a trailer for single player, but then like the main gameplay will be multiplayer. I wouldn't doubt either of those ideas that they might put out there.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 will be there, no doubt. There's no doubt that's going to be one of the big things for EA. Outside of that, now I'm gonna throw this question out to you guys. Ballpark, just wild prediction. What franchise do you think, or what game do you think EA might put out there? Because last year just the big surprise was, oh no, take that back, 2 years ago. The big surprise was Mirror's Edge and Battlefront, 2 games that I didn't expect to get sequels, but somehow they did. Which game do you think EA is going to get and show at this year's E3?
That we're not going to expect. Oh Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to say. I think that the big surprise is going to be whatever the untitled visceral Star Wars game is. Whether it's what they showed, with the when they brought back Battlefront and it was just like this weird CGI cinematic. If it's something even remotely like that, the fact that we know what it is, I think is going to be a huge, like, the biggest thing that everyone's going to be jacking off about on Twitter. It's, I think that... Okay, Brian in the chat, Half Empty Energy Tank says, EA brings back Star Wars 1313. I would be stoked.
That would be fucking crazy.
The best. Oh my god. Like, I was so sad when that game was canceled. But when it was first shown, holy crap, I love the idea of a darker Star Wars game. Especially if that's the game if that's what exactly what it is, and especially when you bring Visceral, who had worked on the Dead Space games, that is a match made perfect in heaven. Oh my god.
What if they announce a new Dead Space?
That's what I was gonna bring up actually.
Ooh,
I want to jump in right there.
Sick.
I'm gonna go crazy here and go like new Dead Space. They're gonna start a new trilogy for it, or they're gonna bring back the 007 series that they were used to do. Those
I don't
two
think 007 is
would be
going to have
crazy.
the impact, though. I mean, that might happen, but I don't think it's going to have the impact that...
I think it depends on how they do it. I mean, especially with how things are nowadays with all the new technology. I mean, growing up, I played the 007 games all the time, and technology back then wasn't that great. But if you can put like, you know, the Call of Duty level graphics we have now, with some of the storytelling that EA has shown that they can do into a 007 game, I don't know.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think my standpoint on the 007 thing is that even if they do announce it, because I'm not throwing it out, I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but even if they do, I think that I don't think people are going to flip their goddamn shit over it as other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be like, that's cool. What you got next?
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
I would love to see a new, better, maybe even third-person James Bond game where you actually have to maybe be stealthy.
Yeah.
Maybe a dialogue system within a James Bond game where you have to be cunning and clever and witty and charming.
So maybe something more along like marrying, we'll say like a Dragon Age or something with like a Splinter Cell and kind of combining the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be fucking rad.
That would be pretty cool.
Okay.
I could see that. That'd be pretty awesome.
And I think that alone, in that idea, giving you the ability to be James Bond would I think floor people.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we had another James Bond game. If they brought that back, that'd be very interesting, especially since like Daniel Craig is no longer wanting to be James Bond. So I'm not quite sure if it's gonna happen or not. Or they may take their own take on James Bond. It doesn't have to be Daniel Craig. It can be like some other Joe Schmo to do Bond.
Yeah, if they did a Bond right now, I think they'd either go back to one of the original Bonds, you know, like a Sean Connery or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which Sean Connery, I mean, people even nowadays know him as James Bond. He played James Bond for so long. So either that, or they're just gonna make it kind of a generic. This character up.
So to kind of go a little bit off topic, what I hope is that there's this theory going around on the internet, and maybe it's not the internet and it's been around longer, but that James Bond is a code name. That the reason that we see so many actors play James Bond is because that's actually anytime anyone gets the moniker of 007, they become James Bond.
Yeah.
And I think with that idea, when you go to start up this James Bond game, you create your character. You make him look how you want.
I see what you're
I
getting
could see that, yeah.
So
Mhm.
And that would fit too, because I mean, think about all the different versions of Q we have.
That's true.
Or
Right,
Moneypenny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Is that Q is like Q is the Q's in the hub, right? And you have to go talk to him to get your missions, and it's varied missions. There's side and main, and then you have to like every time you do a mission, you have to earn enough like money or credit within within MI6 to then buy new gadgets from Q. God, that would be fucking rad.
That would be cool.
That'd be
That'd be
great.
You could also have sex with Moneypenny. That's a thing. That should happen.
I mean, I just kind of feel, you know, the whole, like the James Bond thing is quite a bit of a reach for EA.
Yeah, no, I
You know?
agree. It's a bit of a reach, but it's one of those things I'd really like to see come back.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see it come back. We haven't seen a Bond game in a very long time. And EA was the champion of that for a very long time in terms of the early days. In the, I would say, early Xbox 360 era. I don't go before that, the Xbox One, PS2, and so on. But yeah, like I think that it'd be cool to see a James Bond game. I think having it like, you know, as a something like a customizable Bond you can make and, you know, do your own storyline. It'd be really rad. So yeah, we'll definitely see. But you know, out of the realm of possibility, it may or may not happen. In terms of other games that could possibly like come out of the woodwork that might have been dead for a while, but like people would come back.
I was just thinking, we haven't seen Crysis for a while. Crysis was EA, right?
Yeah, Crysis was EA. Crysis 3 was in 2013.
Yeah,
I can maybe see them, you know, announcing another Crysis game.
You know, there was a lot of hate for this game I'm about to mention, and I think it's a little bit more likely than Crysis 3, just because, if I remember correctly, there was only 2 of them. Army of 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but the last Army of 2 game did not do well. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't think that EA gives a shit about that franchise anymore.
It didn't do well, though, because they didn't do anything different with it. It was the exact same game, pretty much repackaged.
Yeah.
And if they actually tried to expand on the premise, I think it would do pretty well. Especially with the whole everybody needs to have, you know, Xbox Live or Sony PlayStation Plus to be able to play with people now. I think it would just tie in very well to how the systems are designed.
Yeah.
Very interesting to bring that franchise back. I think that I'm not quite sure if EA would, but out of like, and this we're in the like, you know, just pull a rabbit out of your hat game at this point in the conversation. Like, it could happen. I doubt it. But if it does, I would expect probably some, you know, 2 new characters, different setting, maybe some new mechanics that throw in, like something along those lines. But like it would be interesting to see if that does happen and see the reaction of that. Because like many people who played, what was the game called again? Alex, what was the game called again?
Army of 2.
Army of 2, yeah. Like, I'm not quite sure people have that nostalgia or, like, you know, really enjoyed Army 2 when it came out, or have, you know, like definitely wanted to see it come back. So I'm not quite sure what the reaction would be. So.
I agree. I think it would be more, instead of a sequel launch, it would basically be a relaunch of the IP.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see them doing that. I mean, I feel like that's a stretch too. I feel like it's more possible that we would see a Crysis game, because usually with when they announce Crysis, they're like, hey guys, check it out, it's like a new version of the Frostbite engine, and it's like, hey, I think we're about due for an upgrade.
Well,
so,
but they also do that with the
think that's
Battlefield
what they're
games.
Yeah, that is.
So, I mean, it kind of has a dual purpose there. Yeah, Crysis usually comes out with a new Frostbite engine, but Battlefield 99.9% of the time comes out with a new one.
I would. Mm-hmm. The thing about Crysis, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, last I remembered, Crytek was not in a good financial state last I checked, and that they were not making any games as of late, or maybe they're making one game per se. And this maybe is something that showed at EA's press conference. I'm not sure if Crytek is making anything right now. Last I remember, they were in pretty financial issues. Last I called,
yeah.
I remembered. If it does come out with a new Crysis game, you know, I would be surprised, honestly, if there is another one. Even if there was, I'm not quite sure what you would do with it. Would it be like a complete reboot? Would it be another story? Would you continue the story from the last game? I'm not quite sure where you go with that franchise. I love Crisis 2. It's a fucking great game. Crisis 3 was okay.
So here's the thing to remember too with Crytek. They were definitely in financial issues. I don't know exactly where it is right now. I haven't been keeping up with Crytek news, but I do remember last year, I think in April, Amazon leased out the Crytek engine, CryEngine.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely leased it out for, I think it was like something like $50 million or something like that. I'm kind of pulling that number out of my ass.
Yeah.
So they had an infuse of money with that, but I don't know if it was enough to actually keep them going with just building off the same, building anything new, or trying to improve on the engine.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want to throw out to you guys. Since we're on this topic, here's the thing. EA, a third-party publisher, they have, they often publish their games on, on the major consoles, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. Do you think that we're going to see some games in this press conference that's also going to be on, Sony and Microsoft, and obviously not Nintendo, but like Sony and Microsoft primarily on their show, on their press conference?
EA's always had games that they show and then are also on Sony and Microsoft's. So yeah, we're definitely going to see games that we see there. It's just going to be a question of how in depth are we going to go into the games here versus there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing to bring point, EA has their own online service like Steam. It's called EA Origins, and one of the things, it's not good as Alex is like reacting to what it's not as good as Steam or any other store out there, but I bet you more than anything they'll tie it into their press conference, and if anything, because it was shown today, Respawn Entertainment showed off Titanfall 2, and Titanfall last one was also with EA. So, or publishing wise, so we'll probably we'll see some Titanfall today on EA's press conference. As far as like how much would that be, I'm not quite sure. Maybe the same trailer they showed off this morning, or potentially leaked. It's I think they'll show off the same trailer, maybe some gameplay, more gameplay, or multiplayer stuff. I like to point out that what was it? That when I saw the trailer this morning for Titanfall 2, it's just straight up Transformers, like just kind of the feel and look of it. I mean the look of it's obviously different, but like the feel of it is what I'm trying to go after, because like the Titan now has like become Satan, or become like aware, and now he's mission is to protect the pilots. And that's what he's aiming for. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy. They also have a sword now in your mech, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that they'll show some Titanfall.
That trailer that they released today, or were, I guess technically forced to release at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There was a really, really, really rad moment where your character is kind of falling off a building, trying to catch his gun. And then your mech saves you, and then shortly later in the trailer, your mech fucking throws you towards like a wall to run on. Like I was like, I know I'm not controlling a fucking second of that, but Jesus Christ, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing to remember about Respawn is these are the guys that did Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, two of the Call of Duty games that are considered to be the ones that push the boundaries the most.
They are the best Call of Duty games that you could play.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they left Activision is because they were basically being told, no, do the same stuff over and over and over again, and they didn't want to.
Right.
So the idea that we're going to see a Titanfall 2 that's going to be the same thing is outrageous. It's not going to happen. They're going to throw something new in there, at least one thing new that's major.
You know what they had? I think they had already said they were going to do a single-player campaign, which is like one of the biggest things that a lot of people were like pissed off about with Titanfall.
Well, that's what this trailer was a single-player trailer.
Okay, yes, yeah. I've been trying to like avoid like spoilers, so I haven't looked at anything yet.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I don't think the important thing to remember is that this trailer they released has no multiplayer in it. It's all single player stuff.
So I'm not gonna lie, I literally just watched the trailer because it's the first time I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to kind of disagree. I don't feel like it's a Transformer-esque feel. I feel it's more like along the lines of like Halo. They've just given it a low-grade AI. It's not very intelligent, but it's smart enough to be able to do simple tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's well. I mean, it's. I imagine that they're gonna expand on what the mechs could do in the first game, and after having played Titanfall 1 a lot, I feel that with what the mechs are going to do in Titanfall 2 is not going to be drastically different. What I think is going to be really neat or a lot of fun with Titanfall 2 is there's going to be moments in the game, pardon my burping, I've been drinking soda to keep awake. What I think they're going to do, which I think is really cool, is there's going to be a lot of moments where you have to get out of your mech. And your mech's going to then, because the point of the trailer is it says, like, there was 3 rules that it had to follow. Connect with the pilot, arm itself up or something like that, and then the third one was protect the pilot. So I think there's going to be a lot of missions where you have to be outside of your mech, and it's going to be being a fucking badass in the background.
Yeah. Oh, and do remember too, if you played the first one, you did have the option to give very simple commands to your mech anyways.
Yes.
Follow me, stand here, and if you told it to stand or follow you and you weren't in it, it was fighting on its own. So we already saw a level of intelligence there where it actually knew, threat acquisition, fire this, use these weapons, things like that.
Right.
So it's not unlikely that they just expanded on that concept just a little bit further and given it the ability to actually go out and do things on its own, as long as they're simple things, like I said.
Right.
But what I would really like to see come out of the game is more customization options for your mech. Because you had a very limited, like you have these 4 weapons to use, you have these 4 to use here, things like that. Well, if we can expand on that further and go more in depth like they do in the current Call of Duty games, where it's like, okay, here's your weapon, and there's like 8,000 different options to put attachments on and things like that, I think that would push the series just a little bit further and give it more playability long term.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on the because what I'm trying to go with this is that we live in a world now where $60 games are a lot cheaper than they need to be for developers to make money back in terms of how much they've spent on making them over the years. So that's why microtransactions exist. The problem with microtransactions is it took companies years to figure out what works and doesn't piss off people. And as we found out, cosmetic microtransactions does not piss off people enough to be angry at your game. So I agree with you. I think that we need more customizable options for the mech, not necessarily like guns or new things or anything like that. What I think we need is more visual customizations to stand out. When your mech drops, you got
skins
flames
and stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah. I know what you were saying. You're basically saying like we can sit there and say like, oh well, we've unlocked it to the point where we can have a sword, or we can have like an electric chain whip, or we can have chainsaws for hands, like stuff like that. But I don't think we should pay for any of that. I think we should exclusively cosmetic pay for. But yes, I agree with you. What, like a rainbow of fucking cosmetics.
Well, one thing I'd be okay with them doing, instead of like, I have to pay to unlock this weapon, is something more along the lines of, I have paid to get a experience boost. So something along that lines. I mean, yeah, it still gives you an edge because you're able to level up faster and stuff. But these games traditionally have a prestige mode. So every time you prestige, you lose all your stuff anyways. So I could see it working out to balance itself in like a competitive aspect for like multiplayer, where yes, you can level up faster and you can unlock things faster, but if you want to get this extra little benefit when you prestige, which you can only get when you prestige, you're gonna lose the effect anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. there's definitely a lot of questions we have for Titanfall in terms of what they're going to show and what exactly it's going to be. This is EA we're talking about. Every other game that EA puts out or publish has microtransactions. There's going to be some in Titanfall. There's going to be some in Battlefront. It's good. Every game they touch is microtransactions everywhere. So it's going to bound to happen. As far as how much that's going to be, we have to wait and see. If it may be a case where, like, if you want this weapon upgrade, you have to pay, or maybe it's just pure cosmetic. Who knows?
And that's my point, Anthony. Is I think that if you are going to have microtransactions in a game nowadays, especially a game that has a multiplayer, you cannot have anything that gives you a slight advantage over anyone else. Like Battlefield something or other, I think it was 3 and technically 4, gave players the ability to unlock an entire class's set very early on, basically giving them an advantage over anyone else in the match. That is really shitty. That's really, really shitty. That shouldn't happen. That's not necessarily play to win, but if somebody has like C4 and I don't, that sucks.
Yeah.
That should be unlocked as you level up. I also feel that technically, at this point in my life, when you're talking about multiplayer games, more and more games should be like Overwatch, in the idea that like everything is accessible from the gate. There is no unlocking anything. What you unlock is cosmetic. I think that's how it should go, and I really hope that with everything EA has coming out multiplayer-wise, that's what they do.
Right. So just to cut you off real quick, we're 3 minutes away from the EA press conference. EA has just put up their logo right now, and it looks like they're gonna start pretty soon. So
we have about 3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So before that, I want to get your final predictions in what is something that you want to see at EA press conference, and I'll start with Alex.
Let's see. So what I want to see, Cuphead, something new. As far as like what we're probably gonna get is Hella Sports and a lot of stuff that we are already expecting. I think it's gonna be very, like uniform. We kind of have an idea of everything they're gonna show. I don't think we're gonna be surprised by too much.
I'm going to go with the longest of the long shots, especially because I know that EA is not looking for any RTS games, but I'm going with Command & Conquer. I would love to see a brand new, fully developed Command & Conquer game released.
That would be great. Holy shit. Greg.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's the longest of the long shots. I know they shut down Victory Games, who was developing their most recent Command & Conquer, and as far as I can tell, they have no plans for an RTS, but if you grew up with an RTS, you played Command & Conquer. We can all agree on that, I think. It would be the best possible outcome for EA, I think, to be able to be like, even if it's just a teaser of like, hey guys, we're working on this.
Okay. Greg, you.
Anything new from that Star Wars? Whether like I don't really like. I want Battlefront 2. I want them to kind of talk about Battlefront 3, the fan made one, or a sequel to any of the other great ones. But like, if they're like, hey, we got this brand spanking new Star Wars game coming out. It's about this character. It takes place in this part and it's totally canon. That's what I want to see. I want to see something original from Star Wars. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Original from Star Wars. Ha.
Well, I say original in the idea that it's that.
Yeah, okay, guys, we're a minute away.
So my quick thing.
And rolling.
Yeah, so my quick thing is I want to see what Visceral is working on and showing at this year's EA press conference. Maybe it is tied to Rogue One, but if it is, I hope it's just they put 1313 into Rogue One and make that happen. That'd be great. All right, guys, we're about a minute away from the press conference. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to shut down the stream, host the Twitch channel so you guys can watch, and then once the press conference is over, we will come back, give our reactions, and then do it again for the other press conference later today.
You guys are more than welcome to, as we host, stay here in the chat. I'll be sitting in the chat, and we can talk and bullshit and whatnot as this all goes on.
Yep.
I'll be here as well.
Yep, definitely. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna shut the stream down. We will see you guys in a bit. Enjoy the EA press conference.